Hey, thanks for checking out the video. If you all like it, please like and subscribe, and hope you all enjoy it. Have a great rest of the day.
Park rangers here, and before we begin the interpretation and the demonstration, I want to cover a few safety and housekeeping notes. The ropes here are to show you the good spots. So come on up as close as you can to the ropes from one end of them to the other to watch the demonstration that will happen here behind me. But do not go past the ropes. That is where we get into the no zone. So as long as you're at the ropes, you'll have a great view of everything. Now, I want to, in case you haven't heard from anyone yet, thank you for coming out here. Thank you for being a part of this event, this commemoration of the 244th anniversary of the Battle of Cowboy. 244 years ago yesterday, the cow pasture that is on the other side of these trees, surrounded by some swamps, some river canes, some thick forest, this became the scene of one of the turning points of the American Revolution. This became a turning point in the South, especially because you had trained American Continental soldiers defeat a uniformed elite British force. And how did they do this? How did this army, this group of men that have been formed into soldiers who have seen massive defeats all throughout the Southern campaign so far, how did they finally turn it around here? To help show that and demonstrate the weaponry and the equipment used during this moment, we have our great volunteers here from all over the East Coast who are going to show you how these weapons and equipment were used. Now, just a quick demonstration about what a flintlock is. Private Usenko, please take a few steps forward there, sir. Please show the hoist firearm. The weapons that these men are using are not originals, they are not antiques, but these are recreations of the flintlock musket. What that means is the lock there on the outer side of this musket, it contains a sharpened rock, a piece of flint that will strike against a piece of steel, causing sparks. These sparks will ignite the gunpowder, which will propel the musket ball, the buckshot, the projectiles out of the barrel. You see all of these troops are wearing accoutrements. They're wearing things such as cartridge boxes, bayonets, things that they would use with this weapon and in combat. Thank you, Private. You may return to ranks. So we're going to have the company go through some of the loading, show how this company would have served in combat. I'll be explaining the steps as they load with blank black powder cartridges. You notice that each one of these soldiers has a box on their right side. They're going to be pulling out a paper tube with gunpowder inside it. There are no projectiles during this demonstration, but black powder is still dangerous even without the projectiles. Again, the reason for the ropes, and they will be firing away from us today. But these cartridges allowed the soldiers to load very quickly by being pre-measured. They know how much gunpowder is inside each one, arranged in this pouch. They're able to grab them and load quickly. So we'll have one loading by the steps for some explanation about what goes into this, and then we'll see how fast the company can load and return fire in a battle scenario. Officer?
Take care! Single file strike! March! Take care! Halt! Left! Take! Time and load!
So what you see happening here, the company is going to reach into their cartridge boxes, removing one of those pre-measured amounts of gunpowder in the paper container, tearing it open with their teeth, exposing the gunpowder, pouring a small amount of gunpowder into the rear of the weapon, that pan where that spark is going to be made. The rest of that then dumped down the barrel with whatever lead projectiles may be included. Now, we are not using our ramrods here for safety today, but that would be an additional step. That long ramrod removed from its holders, its pipes they're called, forcing all the gunpowder, the musket ball, packing it down into the barrel, and then returning that ramrod ready to fire.
Hold up. Hold up. Hey, ready. Hey, hey. Fire. Right and low.
So what you saw here was a volley, a wall of musket fire. The idea here is that a wall of bullets will probably hit one of the targets. If you fire one at a time, there's a chance you may miss, but a wall of lead flying down range, trained soldiers fired every 10 to 12 seconds will do a lot of damage on the battlefield.
Hold there. Hey, ready. Hey, hey. Fire. Right and low.
When the British Army here in the Battle of Cowpens, they chase away two different groups of local militia, fairly undisciplined, untrained soldiers, but then they run into trained soldiers, the Continentals, a blue backbone of Daniel Morgan's American Army, and they engage in a firefight for just a few brief moments, but you see the smoke and the noise caused by just a few. Imagine thousands of them engaged in combat. This will cause a confused moment. The Americans mistakenly begin to retreat from the battlefield when at the last possible moment, the order is given for the Continental Line to stop their retreat, turn around on one of the picked spot, a hillside here on the battlefield, and they fire point blank into the pursuing British troops. British troops who thought they had won the battle, but they're met by an American volley.
Right, ready. Take aim. Fire! Fire! Hold up! Up!
That volley delivered by the Continentals on that hillside is as close as the British came to winning the American Revolution, especially here in the South. When that volley was given, the British troops, their assault was destroyed. Their charge was over, and they were then chased off the battlefield. This is the moment that the Battle of Cowpens was won. If you have any more questions about their uniforms, their equipment, their weaponry, please, I encourage you, visit them in their camps here. Catch some more of the great Ranger programs today. And if you take a tour and you see the hillside, you see some of the signage saying this is where the moment happened, I want you to imagine that moment. Imagine that moment where a group of farmers, of shopkeepers, of frontiersmen were shaped and formed into an army where they finally had the training, the discipline, the skills to defeat the British on the field of battle here today, 244 years ago. So thank you all for coming out. I hope you enjoyed, and catch some more of our programs.
Here's to the Continentals, and of course, here's one member of his regiment of the Royal Foot. Let's give them an applause. Run, face, run, march. Head back to your camp.
Hey, you seen him for this time.